Hey, yo, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? So this game has been out on PC for about 4 years now, and this is definitely one of those games that I regret not playing when it was released. It is an amazing game from beginning to end. Now, I'm an OG Spider-Man fan. I grew up watching Spider-Man the animated series, where the first episode was the Lizard, the one with the lab coat, and he fought in the sewers and all of that. Like that was mine, where Eddie Brock was the original Venom. I'm not really familiar with the comic books and things that they pulled in from that area, but to go from being a fan of that series in the early 1990s all the way to this game that I've played in 2025, this is a wonderful modernization of that series, in my opinion. Now, I'm sure they've pulled from other sources as well, but I'm just going off of what my area of being familiar with is, and that's just that. This game is literally breathtaking. I mean, graphically, the fighting mechanics, the story, the side missions, I mean, everything in here is just complete, in my honest opinion. I think this is a wonderful game that makes you literally feel like you are Spider-Man. And that's what it set out to do. And this is what it does. Even being Peter Parker, right? It does a wonderful balance of being Peter and being Spider-Man. Though you'll be Spider-Man most of the time, you still get that balance where, like, for example, being Affleck as Batman in the Justice League series, he was a I don't know, I mean, he's kind of terrible at both of them, but I think he was a better Batman than he was a Bruce Wayne. And some might feel differently about that in either sort. But in this game right here, it's a balance of both. You feel good as Peter Parker and you feel good as Spider-Man. The costume selections is another thing that I was very surprised by, because a couple of the outfits they had in here I didn't know were in the game, but they are, and it just really surprised me because it took me back to, once again, Spider-Man the animated series in the early 90s, and certain action figures that I had as a child, to be able to actually play with them in 2025 Spider-Man Remastered was a crazy deal for me. So for months, I just sat back and watched this game. I was hoping it would get down to like $15 because it's been out for so long and this, that, and the other, but that just never happened. And that's fine, right? The game is literally that good, man, where I would pay a good 20, $25 for it. And that's exactly what I did. I think I caught it for like $26 on Loaded, which was formerly CD Keys, and didn't regret it. I mean, played this game for hours, man, just, being off on medical leave from work, so I had extra time. I'm just throwing it into the game because it's just that engaging. So if you're on the fence and worried about this game for whatever the reason may be, and I'm on PC, right? So I'm actually playing on the Lenovo Legion Go, the first one, not the second one. And the game looks beautiful. It runs smoothly. You won't have any hiccups or problems with this game. It is just amazing, man. If you are a Spider-Man fan, this is the game that you have to play without a question of a doubt. Without a question of a doubt. If you are a Doc Ock fan, Shocker, Vulture, and there's other ones they have in here that I'm not going to ruin for you guys. Like, the story just came together very well and really surprised me. One of my arch enemies that I was really hoping was in here actually ended up being in the game, and it really just it brought everything down to it brought everything to the center of what I, would expect from this game, and it was just very satisfying. So I just wanted to give a quick review on, what my thoughts were, what my opinion is, and what my experience has been playing this game. And if you are on the fence and you haven't played it yet, which I'm sure there is many of you guys out here that were just like me, and the game has been out for 4 years on PC or even longer than that on PlayStation, and you haven't touched it, this is the game that you want to touch.
Captain, the inmates and all their guns are webbed up and waiting.
Thanks. No way we could have taken them without collateral damage.
So second up, we got Miles Morales. And if you played the first one, then you know that it was leading up to him basically having his own game and being either a successor or an apprentice, however you want to look at, to the OG Spider-Man. I was very hesitant on buying this game. I really didn't care to get into his story or the other Spider-Man. I grew up off the old one, and that was the only one that I want. And when I tell you that I'm happy I did not skip his story or skip this game. It was always cheaper than the other Spider-Man. I'm assuming because it was cheaper and it was shorter. That's why it was cheaper and this, that, and the other. But I did not regret this purchase. Like people said that the story wasn't that good and this, that, and the other. It's all about bonds, right? And broken promises and things of that sort. Kind of give you like that Naruto and Sasuke feel between him and a buddy of his. It never fell short to really engage me with the story mode. I was really happy to see that they kind of dialed back on some of the unnecessary side missions that really seem to be kind of saturated in the original Spider-Man game, which wasn't a bad thing, right? They're just simply giving you your money's worth. But in here, they kind of dialed back on it and just kind of made it feel more balanced in that area, right? Where it wasn't too overwhelming. Like even like his move set, he just had more swag than Peter had. And the thing that kind of threw me off a little bit was that Peter wasn't old, right? He was like in his, early 20s and Miles is a teenager. So technically Peter should still be in his prime. Like, but the improvements that they've made in this game compared to the original Spider-Man is that Miles is definitely more agile. He's faster in his fighting. He has abilities as far as camouflage, electricity, and things of that sort, which just adds more of a superhero type of style, to this Spider-Man. And at first I didn't like it. It wasn't a Spider-Man that I knew, so I don't really like new things, if you can't tell by now. But definitely they went in the right direction. I mean, just his whole character and how he is, how he's learning to become Spider-Man. He's taking on the city by himself because Pete's gone. Like all of this was just one that I'm just happy I did not pass on. So if you haven't played this one, this is another one that you want to play. It seems like Insomniac and PlayStation Studios or whatever they call themselves know exactly what they're doing with this franchise. So even though it wasn't as heavy packed as the first one was, it still has more than enough content that's going to satisfy. And lucky for me, I didn't play any of these Spider-Man games until 2 has already been out, I think, for like a year or two, right? Because it's on PC now, which is where I'm still playing all of my Spider-Man games. So once I finish 1, I just go to the next one. I can see what has changed, what has improved, what's better and what's not. And I know in some areas you guys might see lag on here. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but it plays very well. It's a nice port, just like Spider-Man Remastered was, where there isn't any lag. It's great graphics, smooth gameplay. Those aren't issues, but for whatever reason, I had to re-download it, and it's playing like this for whatever. If there is any lag you guys see, I'm going to try the best that I can to edit it out. But nonetheless, man, this is definitely a must play. The story mode is amazing. Not as good as the first one, only because there's OG characters that are in there. But for it to be completely newly created and, thought of, I thought that it was really good.
I'm gonna bring this helicopter down. Oh God, I don't want to die.
Now, going to Spider-Man 3, which is actually Spider-Man 2, but it's the third installment, this game was just everything. I mean, I can't even do anything but give it a round of applause. I mean, praises left and right. I know many people had issues with it. You'll see a little bit of stutter in this one as well. And this is actually accurate depending on how the port wants to act. I've tried settings that work very well and came back the same day and they just weren't working the same way. I had lag in it, this, that, and the other. It didn't really show as well. So if this video seems a little bit choppy or it may, not really be up to like the 4K or 1080p, 60 frames per second. That's because I had to use OBS at the same time on the Lenovo Legion Go. And you're already drawing enough power with this game. So to have that running in the background recording, it kind of limits, what the device is able to do. So it's going to look this way and kind of play this way. But apart from that, getting back to the review, I just had to let you guys know that. But this game was everything. People was like it. They felt like it was rushed because there was so many villains that was in it. Look, this game gets real. Like people are dying. Our OG nemesis or villains or whatever are getting like knocked off. Like this was real for me. The story was even better than it was in 1, even better than it was in 2, or even better than them being combined. Like it was dope. And I did let it slide because they didn't have Eddie Brock in here. The original Venom, and that was a little bit questionable for me, but how they did it and still built up that momentum of like hatred for Spider-Man and really drove Venom to be who he was, like I have no complaints whatsoever. I look forward to seeing Venom again, more so like an anti-hero, sort of like how Wolverine is. Looking for that game next year if it's coming out actually. But it was just wonderful. Like the suit collection on here was even better. I think Peter's suit collection was better, but as far as overall characters, this is where Miles outshined Peter. But it was intentionally done for reasons. If you guys play the game or have played the game, you know why it was like that. But I still jump in with Peter with the symbiote suit because I love it, right? That's how I kind of started the video off, and I'm probably going to end it like that. But Miles' collection, I gotta say, man, is dripped out from beginning to end. Like there's just style that's put into how he is because it's a younger generation, right? They're not going to dress the way that they dressed in the 90s or 2000s and this, that, and the other. They got their own way of doing things. And I can salute and I can respect that. So if you're playing on PC, it's going to be a toss up whether the port's going to work well for you or it's not going to work well with adjusting some settings or whatever it may be. That is kind of a toss up. But for the most part, I played on a less powerful device and I still had a good time. Sometimes it was a little hiccupy, sometimes that it wasn't. But nonetheless, man, this is the game that you have to play. And if you're wondering, do not skip any of the previous games because their stories matter to build where these guys are at this point in the series. I'm not going to go into too much detail because I don't want to spoil things for those who haven't played it. But like I said before, I know that there's guys out there or gamers out there who haven't touched the game, even though it's been out for years, right? And this is a review for them, someone looking to get into it and are kind of, skeptical about it. If you have a PlayStation, this should be top on your list without a question of a doubt. It runs phenomenally well on that device compared to being on PC because it's not ported, right? That's the original device. But even if you're on PC, you'll still have a good time. I personally believe that, especially if you have a more powerful one than my portable handheld. So with that being said, man, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I just wanted to do a review of the Spider-Man series and basically collectively of how they all came together and told a wonderful story individually and together for the last one, which was definitely the climax of the series. I hated deleting this off of my gaming console just to free up some space because I still go back in and fight random crimes, even though there's no more story mode. I still go back into story mode and fight some of the villains like Sandman, which is what I'm doing here because it was just that epic for me. So if I had a good time with it, man, I know you guys will, and as stubborn as I am. So in the comment section down below, man, let me know what you guys thought about the whole franchise. I know some people weren't happy with it. Some people loved it. It may be what it is. Drop the comments down below. And as always, it's your boy. Oh no, not another reviewer. And I'm out.